So it's been a bit of a manic start. It is now 1 p.m. on the dot. I've got some sparkling orange juice. I've got my books here. I'm going to start with the Angels game, and Dewey's 24-hour readathon has begun. So let's do it. So I've only just read the first paragraph and I'm already really enjoying this book. Listen to this. A writer never forgets the first time he accepted a few coins or a word of praise in exchange for a story. He will never forget the sweet poison of vanity in his blood and the belief that, if he succeeds in not letting anyone discover his lack of talent, the dream of literature will provide him with a roof over his head, a hot meal at the end of the day, and what he covets the most, his name printed on a miserable piece of paper that surely will outlive him. A writer is condemned to remember that moment, because from then on, he is doomed and his soul has a price. I like the tone already. It just sounds very, very nice, very lovely. So it's only the first hour has gone and I've already run out of oat milk. Can I just say that Vidal, one of the characters in this book, is just so ridiculous but so brilliant at the same time. Everything that he says is some pretentious riff about life and art and philosophy or a quote from some sort of book, and it's just so unnecessary but so enjoyable, and I think that's a sign that this book is kind of so far well written. I'm only 44 pages in and it's about 20 past 2 now, so I've just made myself my coffee. In half an hour I know that Beth from Beth Chats Books is gonna get home from work and she's gonna be able to join in. I sent a tweet to Myrnicon when the readathon started, which was 5 a.m. her time, to ask if she was awake, and I haven't heard anything from her yet, so I'm unsure whether she's been able to wake up yet. Chapter 6. 365 days after I had written my first story for the Voice of Industry, I arrived, as usual, at the newspaper offices, but found the place almost deserted. This sentence. I hoped my absence made them happy, or at least made them forget that they weren't happy and never would be. Brilliant. I go to the toilet for 1 second and I come back to find my seat has been stolen. And she knows that I'm too much of a softie to kick her off. So I guess I'm gonna have to sit there. Not as comfy as here though. So I've been reading for 3 hours now and I'm on page 110. I have been a little bit distracted and it appears that it must be the cat's dinner time because This one is bothering me. I'm going to take a quick toilet break and a quick snack break, maybe just a coffee break, and then going to continue reading. I'm getting really into this book, although I do feel like I've almost read the entire book and I'm not even a quarter of the way through it yet. A lot has happened, but I am really enjoying it. On to my second cup of coffee. It is 5:27 p.m. So I think this is going to be my last coffee for tonight. I'm going to go on to tea. I finished the first part of the Angels game and I am still enjoying it. It's intense, lots is happening. The man in black is the master of this place, the father of all secret and forbidden knowledge, of wisdom and memory, the bringer of light to storytellers and writers since time immemorial. He is our guardian angel, the angel of lies and of the night. You're pulling my leg. Every labyrinth has its minotaur, Isaac suggested. He smiled mysteriously and pointed towards the entrance. It's all yours. Okay, so I am now 200 pages into my book and I'm taking my dinner break. It is 7:15, so I have some leftover curry which I just blitzed in the microwave and I made some toast to go with it because I couldn't be bothered to cook rice. I finished part 1 and I moved on to part 2 now and I'm just a little bit into part 2. And already it has a very different tone to part 1. And even though there isn't exactly a big time jump between the 2 parts, there is a big leap in sort of theme or topic or storyline. And I'm not sure I'm enjoying this part as much as I was enjoying the first part. It's definitely sort of book or plot line at least. It keeps you engrossed and a lot happens. But so the plot is constantly moving, which helps you to kind of stay within the plot. However, I feel like the main plot or the main storyline has only just begun, which is fine. I don't mind that so much, but I'm still a bit kind of wondering where it's going. It's 8 p.m. I haven't done any reading in the past hour. I've just been eating dinner and talking to Davide, but I'm getting back to it. So it's getting dark now. This book is becoming a little bit spooky in a way that it's scaring me because it's dark and I'm going to be out here in the dark with this scary book. There are a few things that really creep me out, and ghosts are one of them. And I'm not saying that this is a ghost story, but there's something spooky going on. And so when you're reading a book that's got this atmosphere, it's got this kind of spooky undertone to it, and it's growing dark outside, you're going to get a little bit freaked out, especially when you hear noises and you're meant to be in the home alone. So, it's 10 to 9, it's not 8:30, it's 10 to 9. So I've still got a few more pages until I'm going to move into the living room and make a safe little nest with lots of light. So I won't feel so scared. So I moved into the living room a little bit early and I'm now on page 305 and it's starting to get intense. I'm definitely back into this book. The first part of part 2 it did alienate me a little bit, but then I got so into it again and it is creeping me out. But the thing is that I don't it's sort of like this thriller mystery, but I don't think it's that mysterious. I think it's quite obvious how it's going to pan out, but it is exciting nonetheless and it's definitely drawn me in. Only 200 more pages to go. It's about 11 o'clock and I've just learnt that the boiler isn't working, which is great because I'm home alone now for a whole week and it's the first day of this week and the boiler has stopped working. I've had to curtain myself into the living room just to keep the warmth in. Oh, be careful, Leo. It's hot. No, Leo, it's hot. You're gonna hurt yourself. Leo! Ah, you puss. Go on, off you get. When your cats won't let you read in peace. I've made a terrible mistake. The book has got really scary. And I really need to wee, but I can't wee. I'm trapped in the room. I'm trapped in the room, and he's just explored a house, and it was quite scary. And I feel like there's someone waiting on the other side of the curtains and wanting to kill me, so I can't go and check because I'm too scared, and therefore I can't go to the toilet because I'm too scared. This is why I don't read scary books. I know it's irrational, but I'm really scared of opening these curtains, so I'm bringing you along with me, because this is like my only source of comfort right now. Okay, so I've been to the toilet, got snacks from the kitchen. I didn't make myself a drink, but I probably should have made myself a glass of squash, but I'm going to have to wait a while until I go back out there because it was really scary. Oh, okay. I thought I heard a noise. I didn't. There was no noise. It's fine. I don't know whether to carry on with the Angels game or not. And I've only got, I'm on page 340 something, so I have about 20 pages until I finish part 2. And then, because that finishes in 366, which I don't feel is a good number. So once I'm on 366, that means out of 500 pages, I only have 144 pages left to read, which I think I can probably do. Probably before 3 a.m. It's currently 12:15 right now. So I can get it all done before 3 a.m. And then I think I can treat myself to watching something a bit happy, to kind of calm my nerves a little bit. Oh, and then maybe I can read something else. So it is 3:30 in the morning, and I have just finished reading The Angels Game by Ruiz. Zafón. I had my ups and downs with this. It scared me. It kind of unnerved me for quite a while. And I think, actually, it was quite nice, because had I known it had a more, sort of supernatural mystery element to it, I might not have picked it up. But not knowing that made me read it, and I did enjoy it. Obviously, Zafón loves literature, and he loves writing, he loves words. Throughout the entire book there is allusions to other, famous classics and literary texts that obviously have inspired the story. Great Expectations was kind of overdone a little bit in this book. However, Dorian Gray I think was mentioned once, but the whole story is very, very similar to the picture of Dorian Gray. It's split into 3 parts, and each part is so different from the other one. And I was kind of disappointed in the last 2 parts, because the first part set it up to be a really interesting and new concept Then the second part was just very formulaic for like particular genre fiction. Then the third part, again, was very formulaic until the end. However, things weren't tied up that well, I don't think. Things kind of just ended and weren't really explained. And I understand that there was some of it left for the reader to kind of add up, which I think the reader can obviously do, because it's just the points are brought up quite often throughout the book. I think I'm meant to like slip into place at the end, but they kind of slip into place straight away. So by the time you get to the end of it, you have your mind made up about one thing, and it kind of tells you that you're right. But then there are other things that kind of weren't exactly explained, which I found kind of annoying. The writing was impeccable. The plotting was very well done. The idea and the literary allusions was interesting. And, and I think the author's love for literature and words really shines through, and I think I could connect with that. It didn't feel wholly original. It wasn't what I was expecting. And I think that the first part set up something that could have been such a great story that I kind of wish it had continued in that vein and didn't. But yes, I am done. It is half through. I am feeling quite tired. I don't feel as scared anymore now that this book is finished, so I can face going upstairs. However, I'm scared about turning off all the lights behind me. I'm going to go up to my room. I'm going to go into bed. I think I might read one of these. Maybe I'll go for Marco Polo, because I think that's probably the one out of the three that I'm most excited for. So I might read this in bed, and then maybe get a few hours of sleep. Because I did complete my goal. My goal was to finish this, and I've completed it. So there's a part of me that's kind of like, oh, you don't need to carry on with the rest of the readathon. But I should. However, I will allow myself some sleep now. Good morning. So it is about 8:30 now. I think I've slept for about 4 hours. I did stay up until 4:30, and I read Marco Polo's Travels into the Lands of Pearls, Snakes and Pearls, whatever that little black classic was. So that was like another 56 pages, I think, that I've read. I decided that I definitely needed to sleep, because I needed some form of alertness today, because I think I have to fix the boiler, which I don't have the foggiest clue how to do, but I need to have some level of being awake to sort that out. Yeah, I had a very disturbed 4 hours sleep because Leo wanted attention, and I think the caffeine from the coffees and the tea kind of was like messing with my head a little bit, but I am awake now. I feel a little bit better, and I think I might read How to Argue with a Cat. Okay, so it is now 11:30. I've just finished reading How to Argue with a Cat. I mean, I think you can look at the cover and kind of guess how this book is. I'm going to give it 2 stars. There was nothing really in it. And the sense of humour in it was definitely not my sense of humour. But it's done. There's another 120 odd pages read, and I have an hour and a half left, and I think that's the perfect amount of time to read one more little black classic. Here's to the final leg and the final book of this 24-hour readathon. Cheers. Return to Mount Song. The river ran clear between luxuriant banks, and my carriage jogged along on its way, and the water seemed to flow with a purpose. and in the evening the birds went back together. Desolate town confronting an old fort, setting sun filling the autumn hills. After a long journey at the foot of Mount Sung, I have come home and shut my door. So the time now is 12:16 p.m. So I only have 44 minutes left of the readathon. However, I am done. I completed my goal in the middle of the night. I've now finished one last book. I finished 3 Tang Dynasty poets. And since there's only 44 minutes left, I don't want to push myself to read the other Little Black classic that I was going to, the Tolstoy one, because I don't think I would finish it in 44 minutes. So I am leaving it there for today. I'm pretty proud of what I've achieved, and I do feel tired. So I read the 3 Tang Dynasty poets, which amounted to 53 pages, and I only gave this 1 star on Goodreads. It wasn't for me. I'm not a big poetry fan anyway, and these poems just didn't do anything. They didn't evoke any emotion or feeling within me. They were kind of just descriptions of places, and while I understand how some people can really enjoy that, it's not my taste. So before that, I then read How to Argue with a Cat, which amounted up to 124 pages, and yeah, 2 stars. Just wasn't great. And then before that, just before I had my 4 hours sleep, I had read Marco Polo's Travels in the Land of Serpents and Pearls. I gave this 2 stars. Also, I didn't like the way that he kept on just being like, now I'm going to tell you this, and then I'll tell you this, and then he tells you, and he says, now I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to tell you this, and he just it keeps on going like that, and he repeats things over, which was really annoying. And I mean, I understand it was just like, it could possibly just be the style of the time in the 13th century writing, particularly travel writing and kind of observations of things of a new place. However, you know, it just, perhaps it could have been translated better for today's audience. This came to 57 pages in total. And then the piece de résistance, the book that I had challenged myself to get through, I get 4 stars. I'm sure you all know what I thought about it, given my like early morning rambles. It was good, wasn't perfect. I think I valued the feeling of it more than the actual plot and storyline, and there was a missed opportunity. However, it was still a good read and did put me on edge at night. This book amounted to 504 pages, and I think next time I do a readathon, I will maybe do 2 books that are about 400 pages, so that I can get I can do one big slug of one book, and then have like a little rest, and then do another big slog of another book, because I really enjoyed just reading this straight through, and it actually reminded me of how much I do love kind of reading bigger books and getting really involved and invested in the story, and it kind of has reminded me that I do want to get back into that habit of reading more books. So in total, in the 24 hours, I read 4 books with a total of 738 pages, and I'm quite pleased with that. I think I did well. I definitely, you know, I took a 4-hour break, so I could have read more, and that was to sleep. And I definitely did get distracted with social media, like updating on my Twitter, but I think I needed that. I think those little breaks in between, and like the hour break I took for dinner, kind of were what helped me to keep on going. If I had just dedicated myself solely to reading, it would have been a bit different. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this 24 hours, and I definitely want to dedicate this month of May to reading more, and, you know, setting apart time for myself to read. So I hope you enjoyed the vlog, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye bye.